Welcome to reasons why my ex put a restraining order on my dad and reasons why I went into contact with my dad in the first place. Previously on Disowned Dads, we did talk about the following behind me, being super LDS with my dad versus my mom, and the gaslighting. This is the current tier list that we have today. I thought this would be a fun little way of processing my trauma because even though your mind moves on, the body still remembers. Talking it out always helps me. So far, it's already been pretty therapeutic. Gradually going in chronological order, being a little bit of background. I do refer to this ex as my pedophile ex, which is not going to be covered in this video. That's more of a story time for another day, but I do refer to this ex as my pedophile ex. And this is kind of going over the background of the court hearing of how this had even happened in the first place. If you didn't already know this about me, I used to be a fursuit maker and I used to be a furry. No hate to the furries, but I just found out that I'm not really a furry. Not just found out, but over time I found out that the reason why I even became a furry was due to my ex. And the reason this had even happened was online. I had come out that I was a kimono mimi. I liked kitsunes, fox girls type of thing. Wasn't to the tail and the ears, but not the full body at the time. Over time, he started exposing me to more of the furry community and the different styles. He eventually came across the kimono style, which is more of the Japanese style of furry and more of an anime-esque type of deal. And so that's what kind of got me into it. And I really wanted to kind of recreate those from an artist perspective. Started making my own fursuit. Insert photo here of my first fursuit. And then also the last fursuit that I ever made. And the first fursuit really got my ex to thinking, hey, how can we make money off of this girl? Oh yeah, let me offer to go into business with her and she can make the fursuits and I can get the clientele and all of that. At the time, it felt really 50-50 and I thought that it was even, but over time I was like, actually, I'm being exploited right now. Later on, my dad actually was like, hey, we need to figure out how you are running this. Because I don't want you to get in trouble, because he was an accountant and he's like, I don't want you to get audited. So let's kind of go over the accounting part to make sure that not only are you still making money, but you're also not getting cheated. They're putting your prices right, and that you're not going to go into the red. Who was in charge of the finances? My pedophile ex was. He goes through all those files. He actually finds out that he was embezzling money. Red flag number one was because he was using his personal account as the business account. There's more details on how that even happened, but that's more for a different date. So when my dad found out that, hey, he's embezzling money and what the type of thing, he called up my ex and was like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? You can get my daughter in trouble with like auditing and all of that. Next thing I know, there's yelling. I don't actually remember what exactly was said, but the reasons why my ex filed for a restraining order was due to terroristic threats. Yeah. I don't think my dad would do that, but also I didn't think my dad would do a lot of things, so I can't really confirm or deny what he had actually said. Not that I can fully retain or remember what he had said. I just kind of know tuning out everything after there was some yelling. Next thing I know, he's getting a court case of a restraining order delivered to our door. So there was that. Now that we've gone over a little bit of the background, we're going to kind of actually go over into the meat of the matter of what the after effect of the court hearing itself. We were originally in Texas. I had graduated high school in 2017, moved in with my dad in Texas, and that's where I started doing the business stuff. My ex at the time was in Oklahoma, so this was like a long distance relationship as well as long distance business. The other thing too is that since we were from Texas and it was filed in Oklahoma, we would have to travel from Texas to Oklahoma. And the problem with that was because we only had a motorcycle for our means of transportation. And this was around August, around the rainy season of Texas, which means there's going to be rain, wind, coldness at night. It gets really humid and at night it can sometimes freeze. We had all of that. I kind of also a red flag for my dad, because why would you want to put your daughter in that situation? As we were going, it started to sprinkle, I think, within the first hour, and this, I think, was like a 6 to 8 hour drive already. I was actually guilted to come. Initially, when he came to me, he was like, he didn't actually ask. He gave me a look once he got the news, and it was like a look of like, are you gonna offer to come with me? And eventually, I kind of ignored those, because I'm like, I don't want to. I'm going to ignore this as much as I can until I'm forced to have to go with you, which in my head, I'm like, I think it's inevitable, but I do want to kind of make it known I don't really want to go. But then he guilts me. He's like, well, I wouldn't have even been in this mess if it hadn't been for your ex and you having like dated this guy, which I don't approve of. He went off about him, and like, he's like, I can't imagine how you even wanted to date this person. And thinking about it, I'm like, I don't know either. Insecurity, maybe? I don't know. Something to unpack later. So then I ended up going with him. Next thing I know, my butt was numb for about like a month and a half. That was not fun in the slightest. But it wasn't even worth it. At one point we had to call and say that we were going to be late, but then we were even later than we were anticipating. By the time we got there, we were late. And when you're late to your court case, you lose. So we made that 6 to 8 hour trip for nothing, and then we had to make it all the way back as well. Didn't really make a difference in the slightest. Could have just not come in the first place. But yeah, that is how my ex decided to put a restraining order on my dad. Now, moving on. We got to put this on a tier list. I'm going to put this as a B tier. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, please go ahead and hit the like button, whether on TikTok or on the YouTube format. I'll be making these weekly because there's a lot. This is probably going to be until like the end of the year, more than likely. And yeah, stay tuned for a bumpy ride and some drama. Get your tea ready and everything. We will talk to you guys next week. Bye-bye.